Is Windows really great? Is Windows really awesome? Well, there is no end to this subject. There are always going to be people out there that will make statements that something is better than other things, that something is great and the other thing is not. Please, folks, listen until the end before you make any snarky comment. Well, to be honest with you guys, I've developed some applications for Windows systems in Visual Basic 5 and 6 and some stuff in the first and second iteration of the .NET framework. After that, I've dropped completely the development in Microsoft platforms. People who know me know that I've started in the programming world using the big Iron DS400, that big machine that looked like a fridge. After that, I used COBOL, C, and C++, and many other things. But, well, exactly what is awesome? Awesomeness is something that is inspiring, overwhelming, impressive. Well, just take a look at the dictionary and you will get it. And what makes something awesome? Well, in short, it's things better than the others. Windows for a long time was awesome, and let me emphasize this. This is written in capital letters, bold. Windows was awesome. It was really, really awesome. Windows 3.1 and 3.11 for workgroups was the epitome of the operating system. Very well done, very few bugs, and really helpful for the user, for work and all the companies. After that, we have Windows 95, 98, Millennium. Do you remember this one? Well, it was... I saw it once, I believe. And the NT, Windows NT. And with this, I usually joke with this one. Microsoft NT, the Neanderthal technology. But Windows I used for a longer time was Windows 2000. I worked in a company and we were making some, I believe, 32-bit COBOL stuff, and this was by far the best Windows operating system I worked. I worked with the same setup for about 2 years without any significant crashes. After that, we had Windows XP, Vista, and now we are in Windows 10. And this is the operation we are talking about, the current iteration of the Windows. It was rewritten several times, but as Windows really improved, well, normally we see these great gurus comparing Windows to Mac, Windows to Linux, the advantages of one against the other. But do realize that is the familiarity of the users with Windows that makes that market share to be so big. Let's just not forget for an instance that Linux is built for privacy, and lots of Linux users don't even bother to report that they use Linux. But let's ask anybody who knows how to use Windows, and you will get about around 95% of yeses, I bet. So 95% of the people you know are familiar with Windows, 2 or 3% with Mac or OS 10, and all the others, well, these people are happy. These numbers are the market share that is being told to us for a long time, and Windows has the biggest market share. But the market share doesn't mean, not even tells us, that Windows is awesome. It simply tells us that it's familiar to people. Well, you know that almost every computer nowadays is bundled with Windows, and this is happening for so many years. So the familiarity starts just right here. You buy a computer and the OS is, of course, Windows. So if Windows is so familiar to so many people, why we are starting to hate it? Why we are starting to dislike Windows? Why are so many people leaving Windows? First of all, there were the importance of having software that was not available to other platforms. Microsoft Office, for example, it was only available to Windows. But this dependency doesn't exist anymore. You have software for Office suites available in all platforms, document processing, spreadsheets, whatever. All these suites are available in Android, Mac, Linux. Well, even Microsoft is building the Office suite for other platforms. Another example is Photoshop, and you have a free replacement for Linux, for example, Windows, or even Mac. GIMP for Adobe Premiere or Sony Vegas, for example. You have Keygen Live for After Effects. You have Blender for the Illustrator. You have Inkscape, and so many other tools. And as we know, Windows is the major incubator for viruses, malware, ransomware, and many other digital threats. But even worse than this, well, you can listen my other podcasts where I speak about why I don't use Windows. But even worse than this, if Windows had a free upgrade for users of Windows 7 and 8, Microsoft needed to find a way to generate income. So the best way to do this was to spy on us, spy on user behavior, sending all that telemetry data, every key pressed, every data from the webcam, microphone, and so many other things. And of course they used this information for their advantage. Selling the data is included here. And think for a moment, is this what we want for an operating system? Certainly not. Windows has simply lost its edge and will keep losing. And that's why Windows is not awesome anymore. Thanks guys for listening and watching. If you like the content, please feel free to press the like button and subscribe. This will encourage the creation of new content.